Well, you know a little bit more about them now. You're also going to learn a little bit more about a new exhibit at the Crime Museum in D.C. It is called Securing the Homeland, ICE, and it's now open.
The exhibit looks at Homeland Security that works every day to protect our nation. And Holly is live this morning with a preview. Good morning.
Yes, we are getting the first look. You know how we work here on Fox 5 News Morning. We like to see things first, and the exhibit actually opens today. We are getting the first sneak peek. It is called Securing the Homeland, ICE, and ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Both of those departments, the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, were formed 11 years ago this month. And yes, each and every day they do important work to keep us all safe. We're going to find out about all of that. But first, you know what we have to do? This is how early we're getting a look at this exhibit. We are actually going to be a part of the last-minute installation of the exhibit. You get to see what goes behind the scenes in terms of putting together these amazing exhibits. We're also going to check the exhibit out, but then they also have a great seminar that's coming up that has to do with frauds and forgeries, specifically check fraud. So we're going to take a look at that, and I think we're all going to learn a little something this morning about a lot of different things. Allison and Steve?
We always do with you, Hal. Thank you so much.
All right, plus the Crime Museum unveiling a new exhibit, and we are there for the big reveal. We're going to check in with Holly a little bit later on. It's now 7. First of all, let's see what Holly has going on this morning. Where are you, Holly?
Well, I'm working hard this morning because we are live here at the Crime and Punishment Museum where there is a new exhibit opening today. We are actually getting to help put the last-minute finishing touches on a new exhibit that has everything to do with Homeland Security and ICE. I know you know what those agencies are, but do you really understand how they do what they do? That's what this exhibit's all about. We're going to tell you why you need to come see it live next. I guess I should be holding the ladder here. Fox 5 News Morning. Stay with us. You were safe the whole time.
Well, their mission is to show crime fighting, and the consequences of committing a crime in America through an interactive and educational experience.
This morning, Holly is getting a sneak peek at the Crime Museum's new exhibit that's opening up. Good morning.
Good morning to you, and this has to do with Homeland Security. It has to do with ICE, which is the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Both of those agencies were formed 11 years ago this month, and now there is this new exhibit that not only showcases the good work and the hard work that they do, but it informs people so that we can all better understand the importance of the work that they do. Janine Vaccarello is the Chief Operating Officer of the Crime and Punishment Museum. It's good to see you.
Same here.
And it's always exciting when a new exhibit opens.
Yeah, this one is especially exciting because we've been working on it for a really long time. We started the process a year and a half ago. So.
Oh, wow. That's a really long time.
It is.
Okay, so, you know, when you have like a certain amount of space, I always wonder, how do you pare it down? How do you decide what it is you're going to show?
Well, we worked with Homeland Security. We worked with Corey from ICE and just talked about what it is that they do and what we would want to showcase, and then what objects we could get. So once we had a basic outline of the most important things, then we designed the exhibit space around that.
I want to bring in Rachel Penman as well, because she is the Exhibit and Events Manager, and I want to show you these two because they work at the museum, but I'm calling them our exhibit ninjas. Look at them, and you're dressed this way on purpose.
Yeah, we get pretty dirty when we are doing an exhibit installation, so we try to wear stuff that won't show all the stains and the dirt. So
I think it looks pretty cool in the process. So what are we doing here? We're putting some final touches on?
Yeah, we have to put the final touches on this exhibit, so we're going to install the labels in it as well as the ribbon inside the ribbon cutting scissors from 11 years ago when Homeland Security was developed.
Oh, wow. So those are the actual scissors?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so we're going to, what do we need to do?
Yep. First, we need to take the case off, so that needs to come first.
Now, do you ever get nervous, Rachel, because you're dealing with, like, real, authentic things here?
No. I mean, I'm trained.
It's what you do. You're well trained.
I'm a trained professional.
Okay. And so now, is there like a diagram somewhere where you know, like someone has told you this is what it needs to look like?
No, we basically
Make
come together. Yeah, we basically come together. In fact, when we were working with Corey on this exhibit, we say, let us put it together, because that's when creativity comes out as we're doing it. We oftentimes change things. We can see the effects things have once they're in the case. So a lot of things are last minute, but overall the mapping of the exhibit, the layout, what we're showcasing, we do that early on. So we probably did that about a year ago of what would go in what area.
And so, Rachel, you're kind of, I see you kind of placing things. You can go ahead. I don't want to, you know, the exhibit opens today. I don't want to make it late because of me.
You know, last minute changes.
Yeah, the last minute changes. But I see, obviously, you're trying to make sure that everyone can see the items, but at the same time, the information is easy for people to read.
Absolutely, yeah. You want them to be able to see the labels, but not have the labels block any of the objects at the same time. So.
Do you ever like get everything done and go, let's go back in?
Every time.
Every time. That's the norm. Okay, we have less than a minute, so I want to make sure we get our last thing in as well. So we'll leave that ribbon with Rachel. We'll come back and check on your work, Rachel. And we've got something special that we're going to place.
Yes, we're gonna place the cross from the U.S. Customs House that was at the 9/11 site, and we're going to place it in our 9/11 exhibit.
So this was actually from the Customs House. So see, you did put your glove on for that. I see that. And you're gonna. So do you ever have like a moment when you're? I mean, that's sacred.
Yeah, it's really great that we're actually able to have a piece from 9/11 as part of this exhibit, as well as the uniform of one of the customs officers that was at 9/11. So yeah, I mean, it's really impactful that the visitors in D.C. can have a piece of the 9/11 experience here in D.C. as well as in New York.
So go ahead and place that in there, and as you watch that, I will tell you the exhibit opens later today here at the Crime and Punishment Museum. We have someone from ICE coming to talk to us in our 8 o'clock hour. Back to you all.
All right, Holly, thank you very much. Here's Holly.
Take a look at that Super Bowl ring. Isn't it beautiful?
Cool.
Yeah, guess what? It's not real. Neither is that Rolex, that Manning jersey, or those Super Bowl tickets. In fact, catching counterfeit criminals is just one of the many things that Homeland Security and ICE do to help keep us all safe. And it's all part of a new exhibit at the Crime and Punishment Museum where we are live this morning. Coming up live later, why you need to come see this yourself. It's all coming up on Fox 5 News Morning. Stay with us.
It's a win-win and win. Thank you, guys. This morning, we're behind the scenes with the first look at the latest exhibit to land at the Crime Museum. Holly Morris has the story now from the museum in Northwest. Good morning.
Good morning to you. And not only are we getting the first look at this new exhibit, Securing Homeland ICE, but we are getting a personal one-on-one tour with Corey Bassett, who is the head of strategic communications for ICE. So are you happy with it?
I am super excited, absolutely.
Because there really isn't an exhibit like this anywhere else.
There has never been an exhibit like this ever.
So what are you hoping that people will see and get out of the exhibit?
We have two main goals. Our first one is to educate the public. It's really important that the public understands our mission and how we really work to safeguard this nation. The second part, we're really hoping to inspire that next generation of youth to maybe join our team.
In fact, she was saying off camera, they are hiring. ICE is always hiring.
Absolutely.
That's right, so that's good to know. Well, I think it is going to be a real educational opportunity for people because there's so many real different facets of ICE, really.
Absolutely. We have a very broad mandate. We actually enforce more than 400 laws. People don't know that.
Oh, wow. So, like, take example this case here, the importance of this.
So this really showcases our work in combating intellectual property theft. When people think of intellectual property theft, they think of things like fake Gucci purses and fake bags and those kind of things. But it also includes health and safety products, toothpaste, airbags, things like that. And it's really important for the public to understand that they need to buy their pharmaceuticals or things like that from a reputable buyer, a reputable seller.
You know, the thing that I read that really impressed upon me was that it's so profitable, counterfeit goods, that some gangs are selling counterfeit goods as opposed to entering the drug market.
Oh, absolutely. It's safer. I mean, no one's shooting at you when you're selling Gucci purses, right?
That's true. That's true. This kind of makes you a little leery at the same time because now I don't believe anything's real that's out there.
Always check.
Always check. If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
It probably
right?
is, absolutely.
What do we got going on here?
So here are some examples of some smuggling artifacts. So people would put drugs or money in any of these items. So you see here the shoe. If you had that shoe on, who would think that you had drugs stuffed down that shoe? We also have, this is an alligator skin purse. That's a big no-no. This is actually a drug smuggling vest where they would put things in the vest and then put a suit over top of it. So you might look a little heavy, but you wouldn't know that people are carrying drugs or money or whatever.
You know, what's amazing to me is that criminals are really smart. The thing is that the good thing is our law enforcement is smarter. So it's all about staying one step ahead, right?
One step ahead.
So you guys have worked really hard to make this interactive. So tell me what we got going on here.
So this is an interactive iPad kiosk. We have 3 different sections on it. Our first one is an app, and I want to show you that first.
Okay.
This is our smartphone app. We actually rolled this out last September. The idea is that this enables the public to help us find individuals who are sexually abusing children. So this is what the app would look like if you download it on your phone. Right now it's available for iPhones, but we're working on an Android version as well. So this really shows you what it would look like. So we'll push the alerts. This shows you the individuals that we're looking for right now. This shows you some of our news releases that highlight the successes we've had in capturing individuals who are sexually abusing children. And this is a list of our partners. And if you take your phone and use your scanner, you can actually download this, and it goes to the App Store. You can download the app right from here.
That is really cool. Okay, we only have about 15 seconds. So as far as the quiz.
Yep. So the quiz basically helps educate you on what ICE does. We'll just do one quick question. How much do you know about ICE? So, first question. ICE does not have an office in which of the following cities?
I'm guessing Australia.
Absolutely right. Exactly. There's about 10 questions in each survey, and the idea is to help educate the public on what we do. One of the popular misconceptions is that we are standing at an airport and looking at your passport. That's not true. We work with an agency that does that, but that's not us. We actually do the investigations once someone actually finds something.
Well, thank you for the work that you do. And you need to come out and see this exhibit. It opens later this afternoon at the Crime and Punishment Museum. We're going to have more coming up in our 9 o'clock hour. Right now, though, we need to get a check on weather. Tucker Barnes, what do you got for us?
First, though, we're going to check in with Holly, and maybe we'll see Sarah again, too. Hi, Holly.
Hey, good morning to you. It's a bevy of activity here at the Crime and Punishment Museum, where we are live and where they are getting ready to unveil their new exhibit. They've given us the first look, though. We're so appreciative. It's called Securing the Homeland ICE. They also have a new lab that's about ready to open here at this museum. We're going to tell you how you can get in on that fun, too. It's all live later on Fox 5 News Morning.
Do about it. It's 9:43 right now. Coming up, it's a big day at the Crime Museum. Holly there is helping put the final touches on a new exhibit opening up today. Find out what it will feature when we check in with Holly coming up.
Also ahead, the stars of Mamma Mia. All right, this morning we are getting a first-hand look at how law enforcement and forensic sciences come together to fight fraud.
Holly Morris is on the case at the Crime Museum in Northwest. Investigator, or Inspector Holly, I should say, good morning.
I know, and I'm in the CSI section of the Crime and Punishment Museum as we speak. You know, here's the deal. We are so lucky because we have these amazing museums at our fingertips, and they have wonderful new exhibits that are opening, like Securing the Homeland ICE that is opening today here at this museum. But at the same time, these museums also have wonderful programs that you need to take advantage of. Janine Vaccarello, the COO of the museum, is back with me, and you all have a new lab coming up.
We do. Launching on March 26th, we have our new Frauds and Forgeries class, where we're looking at check fraud. I know identity theft is a big thing right there, and also people always wonder, what are TSA agents doing when they're looking at our IDs as we're going through the airport? So this lab covers a little bit of everything.
And people can just sign up for it, and there's a cost?
There is an extra cost, and then we offer public labs every weekend, and then we'll also do private labs. So a lot of school groups come through and do these labs. So everyone can just look at our schedule to see what labs we're teaching what weekends. We rotate.
For you to get a better idea of exactly what you're going to learn, let me introduce you to Autumn Greenwood, who is the CSI coordinator. And Autumn, I just want to go on record as saying I think that's one of the best names I've heard in a long time. Autumn Greenwood, I love it. So what do you got going on here?
We have a visual spectral comparator. I know it's a fancy word, but what it really does is shows you how inks can actually change. So when you use different inks, depending on the manufacturer, they actually have different chemicals in it, and they can appear differently. So let's say that you write out a check and you just leave it blank so that then the person can fill it out.
Okay.
Now, what I want you to do is I want you to fill it out, but maybe you want to be paid more than $100. So go ahead and change the amount that it's made out for.
Change the amount. Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to make that 1 into a 4. Pretty easy.
Okay. And go ahead and write your name for it.
Okay. Holly Morris.
So now when we go and put it on here, you can see at this wavelength, what it's doing is it's appearing the same way that you wrote it.
Right.
But as we change the wavelength and the lighting, you can see that it'll start to fade away.
No way.
So
what's that showing you is that was written with one pen and that was written with another.
Exactly. So now if I look at the amount, You can kind of see that it's starting to fade away. You get in 400.
Oh, it becomes
and
100. So
it
then I
becomes
see
100.
you see how I change it. So who has a machine like this?
We actually got this donated to us from the Secret Service, but it's by Foster and Freeman, and they're actually one of the best and more pronounced known as forensic equipment. So they make a lot of different equipment in terms of question documents.
Okay, we got less than a minute, so I want to show some of the other cool stuff.
When you're at the TSA, you're always kind of wondering, what are they looking at when they're looking at my ID?
Right.
As you notice, usually most state IDs have some sort of emblem that actually fluoresces, which is just the UV light, which is a light that we can't see with our normal eye. Now, your credit cards also usually do the same thing. Now, this is look at that. American Express. Visas, you know how it says Visa off in the corner? The V, there's actually a little V that would appear.
And what about the bill here? What's this for?
Now, on the bill, everyone knows about the line that goes through, but if you happen to look at it under certain lighting here, let's get this. You can see that these stars, and then there's an eagle that fluoresces.
So much for criminals to know in order to really pull off a good counterfeit job.
Yeah, and
which is the key.
Yeah. Just using normal paper isn't going to allow you to do.
Isn't going to work. All right. Well, very good. Thank you for that little sneak peek there. Don't forget, that lab is March 26th. You can sign up for that. But then the new exhibit opens today. They're actually having a media event at 11. But this media, we've already been here. Because that's how we roll, right? On Fox 5 News Morning. We bring it to you first.
Cool.
And we got to hang with you for it. You're right. Exactly. Holly, thank you.
Hi.
Hello. You've been running it.